The Stoics never claimed life would be easy. What they offer isn't a way out of the storm, it is a way to keep your light burning, even when the wind shakes the walls. Not through cliches or empty motivation, but through 5 grounded habits that come alive when comfort disappears and certainty packs up. They don't make pain vanish, but they change the way it lands. And once you've lived through a tough stretch with these tools, the next one doesn't get the same hold over your spirit. The first tool is choosing a kind of hope that isn't blind. It's not about believing things will magically work out. It's about trusting that your mind can work with whatever shows up. Epictetus drew a clear line. Irrational hope waits for luck. Rational hope gets to work. When his students feared exile, he told them to think like a carpenter handed a new type of wood. You don't curse the knots, you adjust the blade and figure out what you can build. This isn't just stay positive talk. It's the belief that you, using reason and some moral backbone, can find a way to turn mess into meaning. Marcus Aurelius thanked the gods not for smooth days, but for the kind of thinking that could make use of hard ones. We tend to spiral, imagining the worst. But when you rehearse how you'd show courage or fairness or patience in those worst-case scenes, something shifts. Your nervous system stops bracing for impact and starts looking for a way forward. Hope turns from a shaky emotion into a kind of mental radar that scans rubble for something usable. Next, learning to laugh even when it feels like the last thing you should do. Stoics are often seen as stone-faced, but Seneca reminded people that laughter breaks fear's grip. He even wrote a funny roast of a Roman emperor, turning political fear into something ridiculous. Laughter doesn't make suffering disappear, but it stops it from turning into something sacred or untouchable. It pokes a hole in the drama. Laughter changes your brain chemistry. It drops stress levels and lets your better thinking come back online. The trick is learning to spot what's absurd, how your inbox feels like a hydra, how your own brain exaggerates everything, and how seriously people take the pettiest problems. If you can make one joke about your situation before lunch, you've already won a round. That little laugh says, you don't own me, even if the stress is still there. The next move is turning your own pain into something that helps someone else. The Stoics called this living like we're all part of the same big body. If you've been crushed by something, a job loss, a breakup, a health scare, that means you now understand a wound that someone else might be walking through alone. Use that knowledge. Don't let it sit there and rot. Marcus wrote about being grateful for the people who guided him. Then he set out to become that kind of person for others. Hard times make us want to shut down, but this practice pulls you outward. Even a small act of help, an encouraging message, a warm meal, a shared story, shifts the experience. Suddenly your suffering isn't just a private ache. It's fuel for connection. And because you're not doing it to feel good, but to do good, the reward comes back quietly, without ego. It softens the pain from the inside out. Then there's the practice of looking at nature, not just to feel better, but to remember your place in something bigger. The Stoics believed the universe has a rhythm. Even when people fall apart, the stars don't forget how to rise. Marcus, walking through cities ravaged by disease, stopped to notice birds in formation, or the way the ice slowly melted off rivers. Those moments reminded him that decay and growth are part of the same system. When things get hard, your view shrinks. Everything feels like it's falling apart, but stepping outside, watching clouds drift or leaves shift, cuts through that. Seneca said to go out to the country not for pleasure, but to learn from how rivers carve through rock over time. You don't need a mountain retreat, a walk, a balcony view. Even the curve of a houseplant stem can do the job if you're really paying attention. It reminds you that pain is part of the cycle, not the whole story. And through it all, there's the quiet power of writing things down, not to make yourself feel better, but to get honest. The Stoics used journals like mirrors. They'd ask, what actually happened today? What story did I tell myself about it? Could I handle it differently next time? When things are rough, your mind spins stories, repeats rumors, merges feeling with fact until you're lost in the fog. Sitting down at night to unpack it, moment by moment, clears that up. You write like a detective, not to perform, but to see. Musonius Rufus, who taught Epictetus, urged this ritual. Over time, the page becomes more than a diary. It becomes proof that you're showing up, thinking, learning. You track your strength, catch your triggers, and start seeing where you're growing without even noticing. Your past entries start to teach you, and what you write today might one day guide someone else. Put all of this together and positivity stops being something sugary or fake. It turns into something strong. Hope becomes a habit of looking for what can be built from the rubble. Humor keeps your mind from locking up. Helping others transforms pain into usefulness. Watching nature widens your lens. And writing makes sure you're not lying to yourself. None of this means pretending things are fine. Stoics didn't tell the drowning man to just think positive. They taught him to orient, to breathe, and to scan for the shore. They believed positivity meant looking for ways to live with purpose, even when the sky cracked open. Seneca said suffering forces you to finally spend time with yourself, something we avoid in comfort because we're so busy performing. Marcus wrote that no storm can reach the lamp protected by your inner walls. Epictetus, once a literal slave, said peace is always available if you can learn to handle your own thoughts. These aren't abstract quotes. They were battle notes from people who faced more than most of us ever will. Their methods are still here, waiting. You don't have to start all at once. Try one piece. Maybe find the funny angle in that awkward meeting, or take a 5-minute look at the sky tomorrow morning. Help someone on Friday. Journal a little on Saturday. Stack those pieces one by one. Soon the storm won't feel smaller, but you'll feel steadier. You work, you love, you live, and the chaos outside runs out of tricks.